A 7-month-old baby doesn't just vanish into thin air, does he? Not from a seemingly ordinary Yucaipa strip mall parking lot, not in the bright, unforgiving glare of broad summer daylight, and certainly not while strapped safely into a car seat, mid-diaper change. Yet, that's exactly the chilling story one mother spun on the evening of August 14, 2025. Her frantic, tear-filled 911 call painted a horrifying picture. Her baby, gone. Her face, bruised. Her narrative was crystal clear. "I was knocked out cold," she sobbed. "When I woke up, Emmanuel was gone."
You are listening to the True Crime Tales. In this episode, we uncover the heartbreaking story of Baby Emmanuel. This is a tragic and truly sad story, a life stolen far too soon, and the relentless pursuit of justice that followed. And now, please continue to follow along.
The response was immediate and overwhelming.
Him out of the car seat, and I laid him down and so I could get his diapers ready, and somebody said, "Hola," and that's all I remember. And I saw white, and a hearing sound. I fell on the floor, and I said, as I got up, I couldn't find my son. I checked around my truck, and I ran into Big Five, and I asked the lady if she saw a baby or someone with a baby. She said no. It was a happy boy. He smiled. Mackenzie loved to kiss him.
Search choppers sliced through the night sky, their powerful beams cutting across the inland empire. Scent dogs, keen and restless, crisscrossed the asphalt, sniffing at every shadow. Strangers, their faces etched with worry, clutched flashlights and murmured prayers, joining the desperate search. But as the sun reluctantly crept over the horizon the next morning, a cold, hard truth began to settle in for the detectives. That sinking feeling in their gut, it told them one thing, loud and clear. This timeline, this story, just didn't add up. What starts as a frantic plea for a kidnapped newborn can, in a matter of hours, twist into something far more sinister. In less than 96 hours, the desperate search for stolen Baby Emmanuel morphed into a full-blown murder investigation. And here's the kicker. No body, no eyewitnesses, and not a single pixel of parking lot surveillance footage showing any stranger anywhere near that truck. Mind-boggling, right? So, how does a missing baby go from a supposed abduction victim to allegedly killed by his own parents? And perhaps even more haunting, why do prosecutors now firmly believe that they may never recover his tiny remains? Stick with us until the very end, because the final, chilling detail of this case will absolutely flip everything you thought you knew on its head. Rebecca Haro, Emmanuel's mother, told deputies a story that was as dramatic as it was disturbing. She claimed she had pulled her white F-150 pickup behind the Big Five sporting goods store, a seemingly innocuous spot, to deal with what she described as a blowout diaper. A common enough parental woe, you'd think, but then, she alleged, a man attacked her, striking her in the temple, rendering her unconscious. When she came to, slumped across the console of her truck, Emmanuel was gone. It was a tale designed to evoke immediate sympathy and outrage, but almost immediately, red flags started popping up. Where was the blood from such a violent assault? Surveillance cameras, those silent sentinels of modern life, showed nothing. Not a single stranger approaching her vehicle, not a struggle, not a car speeding away. And in a bustling strip mall in broad daylight, how could no shoppers have heard a scream? Inside the cab, the scene spoke volumes. An open pack of baby wipes, yes, but only one unused diaper, and a pacifier still innocently clipped to a car seat strap that, curiously, had never been unbuckled. Deputies, operating on the mother's initial report, scoured every conceivable hiding spot. Drainage ditches, overflowing dumpsters, even the rooftops of nearby businesses. Nothing. By midnight, Emmanuel's sweet, gummy grin blanketed every windshield in the Inland Empire on countless flyers. A community united in a desperate yet increasingly futile search. The very next day, August 15th, detectives began the painstaking process of separating Rebecca and her husband, Jake, for what they called routine walkthroughs. It's standard procedure designed to catch inconsistencies. And oh, did they find them. Rebecca's bruise, while fresh, had an oddly symmetrical quality to it. No swelling, no fracture, almost too perfect for a violent blow. Meanwhile, Jake's voice, when he spoke to the media and investigators, was eerily calm, almost rehearsed. "We just want our boy back," he'd say, a phrase that sounded more like a script than a desperate father's plea. When asked about the details of that fateful evening, Jake could recall Rebecca's attire down to the very stitch, but when the conversation shifted to the last time he saw Emmanuel alive, his composure faltered. He stumbled, hesitated, and his story grew murky. This was a crucial moment for investigators. Then came the canine units. These highly trained dogs tracked Rebecca's scent directly from the driver's seat of her truck straight into the Big Five store. Crucially, their trail never led to the rear cargo area where she claimed her attacker had dragged her. Another piece of the puzzle just did not fit. And then, the digital smoking gun. A Ring camera 2 blocks west of the strip mall captured Rebecca's white F-150 rolling past at 6:08 p.m., a full 7 minutes before she claimed the assault even happened. At this point, those initial alarm bells weren't just pinging anymore. They were clanging like a full-blown fire alarm. The kidnapping narrative was rapidly unraveling. By August 16th, the investigators had enough questions that they invited Rebecca back for what they politely termed a clarification interview. But Rebecca wasn't coming alone this time. She arrived with an attorney by her side, a clear signal that the tone of the investigation had irrevocably shifted. She stopped speaking, her initial tearful pleas replaced by a stoic silence, her face often buried in a sweatshirt that, with a cruel irony, proclaimed "World's Best Mom." Meanwhile, the online world was ablaze. Social media feeds were flooded with hashtags like "Find Emmanuel" and "Justice for Baby E," fueled by a community desperate for answers. Tip lines lit up with calls, each one a thread of hope, however thin. One caller swore they'd seen a blue-eyed infant at a Bakersfield gas station. Another insisted Emmanuel was alive and well in Tijuana. Each lead, however, died on the table, proving to be nothing more than a heartbreaking dead end. While the public clung to the hope of a misunderstanding, forensics accountants were busy tracing recent purchases made by the Haros. The receipts told a grim story: quicklime, contractor bags, and a suspicious 3 a.m. ATM withdrawal 50 miles from their home. The heat, once diffused, was now squarely on the parents. Yet, the community, perhaps unwilling to believe the worst, still clung to the notion that it must all be some terrible mistake. The inevitable came on August 22nd. SWAT teams descended on the Haro trailer in windswept Cabazon, a dramatic culmination of days of intense investigation. Rebecca, 27, and Jake, 29, were swiftly cuffed, arrested on suspicion of murder. Inside their home, the grim reality deepened. Cadaver dogs, trained to detect the faintest scent of human remains, gave strong indications on the master bedroom carpet, and tellingly, in the bed of the pickup truck Rebecca had been driving that night. This wasn't a random hit. It was forensic confirmation of a tragedy. Prosecutors wasted no time. On August 26th, formal charges were filed: murder with the special circumstance of torture, a grave accusation that carries severe penalties, alongside filing a false police report. Bail was set at a staggering $1 million each. In a brief, grainy jailhouse clip that later circulated, Rebecca was seen whispering, "I still believe my baby was taken," clinging to her original story. Jake, in stark contrast, stared blankly at the wall, his face a mask of frozen despair. Authorities then made a devastating announcement: Emmanuel, they believed, had likely succumbed to prolonged physical abuse sometime between August 5th and August 14th. This meant the kidnapping tale wasn't just a lie. It was allegedly a desperate, last-ditch smokescreen to cover up an unspeakable crime. The search for Emmanuel's tiny body became a relentless, heartbreaking endeavor. Cadaver dogs tirelessly scoured the vast stretches of land. Ground-penetrating radar systems probed the earth, hoping to find any disturbance. They even brought in a convicted killer on work release, someone with intimate knowledge of the desolate desert landscape, hoping his grim expertise might offer a clue. But despite every effort, nothing turned up any remains. Detectives now believe Emmanuel's disposal could have happened anywhere along a sprawling 200-mile loop of remote interstate scrubland, making the task of finding him akin to searching for a needle in a vast, unforgiving haystack. The sheer scale of the desert makes it an ideal, if horrifying, place to hide something. Without a body, prosecutors face an uphill battle, but they're building their case brick by circumstantial brick. They'll point to the inconsistent statements from the parents, the suspicious purchases of quicklime in contractor bags, the forensic hits by the cadaver dogs, and a timeline that's less solid narrative and more Swiss cheese, riddled with holes. Legal analysts are quick to note that California has, in fact, secured murder convictions without a body before. Think of cases like Baby Skylar or Baby Connor, where the evidence, though not a physical body, was compelling enough. However, despite these precedents, every single juror will undoubtedly wrestle with the same haunting question. Where exactly is Emmanuel? The stage is now set for a dramatic legal showdown, with a preliminary hearing scheduled for September 17th. You can expect prosecutors to meticulously unveil a mountain of evidence, even without a body. They're likely to present blood evidence found in the pickup truck, which could tie the vehicle directly to the alleged crime. Imagine the impact of presenting Google searches from the Haro's devices for queries like, how fast does lime decompose a body? Chilling, right? And then there are the jail cells, where Rebecca allegedly coached Jake on staying on the same page, a potential glimpse into a coordinated cover-up. The defense, on the other hand, will hammer away at the prosecution's Achilles heel, the glaring lack of a corpse. No body, no eyewitnesses. These are powerful arguments for reasonable doubt. They'll also likely try to reintroduce the possibility that some phantom kidnapper really did strike. An unseen assailant who somehow managed to bypass all surveillance and leave no trace. If convicted, both parents face the crushing weight of life without parole. Thankfully, for them, the death penalty is currently off the table under California's moratorium, but a lifetime behind bars remains a very real possibility. This isn't just a trial, it's a high-stakes game of legal chess, with Emmanuel's memory hanging in the balance. Real cases like this, with their twists and turns, move incredibly fast. Don't miss a single beat. Smash that subscribe button right now so you're notified the moment the verdict drops. And hey, if you've seen anything at all that could help, please tip the San Bernardino Sheriff's Department. The link is right below. Every piece of information matters. So, what on earth happened? What flipped a seemingly routine family into the alleged perpetrators of a torture-murder cover-up? It's the question that haunts everyone. Friends and neighbors paint a picture of mounting pressure. Money was tight, the trailer home was often chaotic, and Emmanuel, poor little guy, had colicky nights that reportedly stretched tempers to their absolute breaking point. It's a sad, all too common scenario of stress boiling over. Digging deeper, Child Services records show 2 prior referrals involving the Haros. Both tragically were closed due to insufficient evidence, a frustrating reality of a system often stretched thin. Psychologists often refer to situations like this as the perfect storm, a toxic brew of financial hardship, parental immaturity, overwhelming stress, and perhaps even a history of learned violence. Whatever the precise trigger, whatever the exact sequence of events, the storm ended in the most devastating way imaginable. A 7-month-old baby, Emmanuel, erased, from the face of the earth, his potential future cruelly stolen. Even now, weeks later, vigil candles still flicker outside the Big Five sporting goods store, a poignant, if heartbreaking, testament to Emmanuel's short life. Managers, with a heavy heart, politely ask mourners to keep the entrances clear, but the silent tribute continues. Rebecca's relatives, grappling with their own grief and confusion, created a quilt stitched with tiny handprints, a physical manifestation of their sorrow. Jake's mother, fiercely loyal, still swears her son is innocent, desperately begging for donations to his defense fund, convinced he's been wrongly accused. Online, the armchair sleuths are working overtime, dissecting every interview micro-expression, every public statement. They label Rebecca a textbook deflector, analyzing her every glance and gesture. Jake, they say, is a vacant enabler, his quiet demeanor interpreted as complicity. The internet, overeager to judge, has rendered its own verdicts. But the real truth? It's likely buried somewhere in the desert dust, known only to a precious few people, and perhaps not even them in its entirety. Baby Emmanuel Haro never got the chance to crawl, never tasted his first birthday cake. He never even got the chance to plead for help. His parents may have silenced him, but the evidence, piece by painstaking piece, is now doing the talking. It's talking to a jury, to detectives, and to every viewer who refuses to scroll past this tragic story. If Emmanuel's story has rattled you, if it's stirred something deep inside, please share it. Someone out there knows where that tiny body lies, and we need their voice. Let's keep his name alive until the day justice is more than just a trending hashtag. Drop your thoughts below. Do you think prosecutors can truly win the case without Emmanuel's remains? Or will the lack of a body ultimately lead to reasonable doubt?
Thanks for joining us today.